This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design. Kiwi is the leader in Oculus Quest and VR accessories. And now, you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast.
The Oculus Quest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever find things could be a bit more comfortable, maybe a little safer? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and so much more.
And let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. You don't want to be that guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes now to prepare yourself today.
And you don't need to sacrifice comfort for cost either. Kiwi is constantly running promotions of 20, 25, and even 30% off.
Just visit the link in our show notes and use the promo code on their website to take full advantage of your savings. And be sure to follow the link in our show notes so we get credit and you help support the podcast. And remember, Kiwi has you covered for all your VR needs. This podcast is brought to you today by Zencastr, the company we choose to use for our interviews.
I remember that first interview we had and the stress that we went through trying to find a platform that we were going to host this on.
That's where Zencastr came in. With HD video recording and studio sound quality, we were able to connect seamlessly with guests all over the world.
I love the fact that it's as easy as sending our guests a link, they click on it, and they're connected.
With automatic post-production, secured cloud backup, and automated transcripts, Zencastr is the perfect solution for any remote podcast. If you want to make remote podcasting easy,
make sure you go to zencastr.com/pricing and enter the promo code Ruff Talk VR, and you'll save 30% off your first 3 months.
That's zencastr.com/pricing, promo code Ruff Talk VR. It's your time to share your story. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we have a very special guest today. I've been hyped for this one pretty much since...
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, Demeo...
Since we started
the podcast. Demeo was our first episode ever. We did a follow-up episode like 5 episodes later, so we've been hyped for this one since day one. You know, today we're lucky enough to talk to Ciwiel, the community manager of Resolution Games. You know, the people behind some of our favorites, Demeo, Cookout, Blaston. But, you know, Ciwiel, if you don't mind, introduce yourself a little bit more to our guest. You know, maybe they never played Demeo. Tell us a little bit about some of the games that Resolution has made.
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. As you mentioned, I'm Ciwiel, the community manager for Demeo, and I work at a game studio called Resolution Games. And we've released a lot of VR titles and AR titles, and now we're also about to launch our first PC title, which is Demeo. And yeah, if you haven't played Demeo, it's a roguelike RPG, which is set like basically you're playing in the basement of wherever you imagine that you are. And you can choose between different heroes and fight your way through the dungeons. Yeah, it's just super relaxing. It's very much like a IRL board game, just hanging out with friends and having a good time.
No, we absolutely. When Demeo came out, we were all over that. That's why we chose it to be our first. Like, what's a good one for our first podcast? And Demeo was the one.
Yeah, especially as a group of guys who love co-op games and working together, Demeo was a no-brainer. So what inspired Resolution Games to make a tabletop game?
So basically, it had been a thought that had been, we've thought about for several years in different ways. And the idea was to basically create this like game night, but really make it feel like you're playing together. And that's kind of where it stemmed from. I think there were a lot of people involved who had, experience with board games and had played a lot. And it just basically all merged together into what Demeo became. But the idea, from the start and also to this day is to make sure that you have a really good multiplayer experience.
Yeah, the for people who haven't played it, the basement that you play in. Shit, I think we talked for like 10 minutes just about that.
Yeah,
the immersion feeling. Yeah, when you said game night, that actually like I wrote that down because I was like, that's pretty legit. It is the multiplayer is what this game's always been about with me and Dscruffles. So the fan reaction to this game, we knew that it was going to be big. To me, it was absolutely huge. but what's it been like on the inside after you guys released this game? I mean, I'm assuming from your guys' perspective, this was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, you never know how everyone's gonna receive it until you release it, right? So you're sitting there like for months and months, just like really excited to see people's reactions, but you're like a little bit anxious because you don't know if they're gonna love it as much as we do. And then we had a really good reaction. And it just, encourages us to just keep building on the game and keep expanding what we do and build a really cool community together and do competitions and whatnot. So it's been a really cool journey to like see it from the beginning. I mean, I wasn't at the studio when they started making Demeo. It's been a while. But just seeing it like through the whole journey, basically, it's been really amazing. And yeah, people seem to like it. I mean, the reviews don't lie, right?
No, it's by far one of the most popular games I think on the Oculus Quest store. I mean, it's the community's been pretty it just keeps growing in my opinion.
Yeah, even on our subreddit, it's one of our podcast fans' favorite games. There's we've done a couple game nights together with some of our fans, and Demeo is always one of the first recommendations. So, you
Oh,
mentioned that
that's so cool.
that that you hopped in during the development of Demeo. So, how long has the Demeo been in development? And overall, what was the total length from concept to finish?
I have to admit, I'm not sure exactly how long it took. Um, I know like the discussions about this game started a long time ago, like several years ago. Um, but I'm not exactly sure how long production took, so I would have to come back to with an answer to that question. But I mean, a few years. Um, but also like the development team has differed in how big it's been during that time as well. So yeah.
Oh, understandable. Resolution seems to always be pumping out good quality
Yeah,
content, new games. So
they don't put out shoddy anything, even the past things that they've dropped.
I saw
Still fan favorites, you know.
I saw them just announce opening up an Austin studio. So clearly, Resolution is growing, quite a bit.
Yeah, that was actually one of
Yeah.
my a lot of the studios we or developers we've talked to come from very small studios. We're talking 7 would be a huge number to some, but Resolution Games seems to be a rather larger studio. Without, yeah, I don't need exact numbers, but ballparking, approximately how many people actually work at Resolution Games.
Oh, it's a good question. I know we're over 100 now. Um, and but the thing is, we've recruited a lot during COVID, so I haven't met a lot of my colleagues yet, which is it's so strange, during these times that I've had new additions to our marketing team, for example, and it's taken a long time before we could even meet each other. Um, but yeah, so somewhere around there.
Oh,
Yeah, I
so
don't want
they're
to say an exact number, but you didn't ask either, so yeah.
yeah, no, 100 is pretty much in my. I figured 75 to the 100 mark. If people haven't seen their Instagram either, it looks like a pretty fun place to
Oh yeah.
looks like a pretty fun place to work as far as like going to work every day. So I'm
Oh,
a
it
believer
is.
that the environment people work in is, the results of what they produce is tied into the work environment. So that answers,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
just feeling safe and accepted and you can be who you are and stuff like that. Really, it makes people, if you're comfortable, you're gonna make better games. That's at least my view of
Nope, I totally couldn't disagree with that if I tried.
And hopefully, as we
it.
exit a pandemic life, when COVID's one day fully done, hopefully you can do a big get together and meet all these new faces at Resolution that you haven't gotten to say hi to in person yet.
Yes, I would love that. We'll see. We have a Christmas party we still haven't done that keeps getting postponed, but
That gets stacked
eventually.
on to the next year's Christmas party.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so far I know we're not having Christmas food anymore because it's not planned in winter anymore, but we'll see.
So 3 free DLCs, some
Which is
major.
pretty huge because
Yeah.
they're not the first DLC they did was pretty damn good.
Yeah, let's be real. I think if people had to pay $5-10 for the books, the new DLCs, I don't think anybody would be complaining. Besides a small fringe, it would be understandable. But you guys have pumped
The
out three.
values there.
Oh yeah, but you guys have pumped out 3 free new new maps, with no sign of slowing down. Looks like you guys have a bunch of new updates planned. So, what can we expect next from Resolution Games in Demeo?
So the next big thing, we're releasing this Hangout place that's coming on February 24th. So that's being released soon. And then we have PC, of course, coming up, the PC version of Demeo where you don't have to have a VR headset. And then we have 2 more adventures coming this year. What else? I'm just need to make sure I'm not saying anything that I'm not
No,
supposed
don't.
to
Spoiling anything?
say.
No worries.
Nope.
No
That's
worries,
fine.
right? But then we have
Two
like a
new.
few.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I was gonna
No,
say 2
it's
new
all
books
good.
is huge. So with the PC version, that's not going to be VR. Is that going to be able to be cross-played with people who are in headsets? So, example, I have a
Yes.
friend who frick yeah, it'll be so
Yes.
much easier to sell people on getting a headset. I think when they can experience these type of games, be like, see how fun this game is.
If you played it on the PC, right, and you love it, then you have to, one has to instantly know in VR it's only going to be 10 times better.
100%.
Absolutely.
I think the PC players are going to be pretty stoked about it because overall, is it just a game, even outside of the VR element, to play that on a PC? It's still, I mean, the challenge level is there, so it's. I think it's a great game then for PC.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. And what can we expect to see in this player hangout? Because I love social experience. Like Golf Plus has, the social lounge. I don't know. I love those type of features. So what are we going to see in the Demeo one?
Basically, it will be a place to hang out and talk to other players. You can like customize your avatar and play some mini games, and there's even like an arcade machine in there as well. So yeah, it would be like a little bit of this and that, but mostly just a really chill place to hang out.
No, I'm a sucker for these silly little mini games. So I'm looking
Oh,
forward to this.
nice.
And the 24th is coming very soon. So
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
can't wait for that. So you guys just recently came out with the Bard as a new playable champion. Do you guys have any other champions coming out soon that you guys are working on?
Nothing that I can share at the moment. I know it's the boring, standard PR answer, but
No.
basically, we will add more stuff to the game, and we will most probably, I don't know myself, but most probably add more, heroes down the line. But it's nothing that we can share yet. But yeah, more is coming.
I'm always of the mindset without even asking a developer if I know their game's successful and I've seen like so far the trail that they've been leading people on, I just make the assumption there's always more coming. It's not by any means a dead or abandoned project, and
No,
it's
we're
just
hoping
when
to.
and where's
Yeah,
and what is what excites me, and then not knowing, I guess that's fair too.
yeah.
But I'm of the mindset, yeah, there'll be more, and you don't have to say it. I'm not claiming anybody's making that factual. It's just my brain says, yeah, they're always.
It's a
Oh, but
no-brainer, is what he's saying.
Yeah, well, definitely more. I just can't say what it is, but definitely more content.
Nope, that's above and beyond a PR answer. So, has there ever been any discussion of fan-made content or fan-made maps?
I mean, we know that it's the thing that a lot of people want, and we haven't forgotten about it, and we have noticed that that is a popular request. But if we were to make something like that, it would be quite a big project. Like, it would take a lot of development time and resources to make that work. And at least for now, we're just focusing on other parts of the game. But you never know, maybe in the future. We haven't said like no or anything, but
No.
not at this moment.
Yeah, understandable. Higher priorities, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah, no, and I ask because I know it's been something that's been brought up before by people about will there be the ability to make a content map. In again, in my own head, I'm thinking like, these maps are pretty specific where how everything works and jives, and I don't know how easy it would be to just
plop a bunch of stuff down.
This is the walls I built and the dungeon I
Mhm.
built, and now everything should interact and work like it should. I just don't think it's
Well, it's funny how
that easy per se. So
yeah, it's funny how your initial thoughts on a game change over time as things have time to sit and develop. Like when I first started with Demeo, I was like, oh, I want to make my own class. I wish I can make my own character D&D style. I wish I could name him. I wish he leveled up, stats, all this stuff. You know, months in, DLC is released pretty much a year into the game now. I don't think that would work. I like the pre-made classes. I like that it's not carryover stats. It's a fresh new character every game. So and it's kind of that same thing with fan-made content. The first time I played it, it was like, we need fan-made content now. It's a no-brainer. But after playing, the 3 DLCs, exactly what you said. It's like, man, these are pretty sophisticated.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be so easy
way to. I just don't think there's an easy way to do it.
Oh.
As much as people want it. So this was just a situation of leave it up to the developers and let them take us on their journey, and put faith and trust that they're just gonna keep putting out goods. I mean, there's enough out there right now.
So for me, I'm a big fan of the tank. I love being the tank. I love going in there, healing, 4 to 5 health every turn, just eating all the damage. Stratus loves to be the archer over here.
Yeah, I'll take some distance.
Hitting people across the map. For you, I mean, I'm sure you played this game so much, through testing and community engagement, everything like that. Do you have a go-to class, though?
I do. Hunter is the one for me as well. I just really like playing a ranged character. It's like, when I play first person games, I like being, the tank going in, slashing and dashing. But like when it's more, turn based, I just prefer being ranged, and Hunter is perfect for that.
I feel safer for some reason.
Yeah, well, me too.
I mean, the same odds and all that exist, but I mean, in their strategy, of course. But for some reason, in Demeo, I just feel safer. Let somebody else stand over there, and I'll take my turns from over here, and I'll still do my part. And
something me and Stratus credit ourselves a lot is, like I said, we love co-op games. So we work together quite a bit in co-op. We have good teamwork and strategy. So I run in there as the tank, a decent distance ahead. Not so far ahead that I'm going to die, but a good 5-6 squares. I get all their attention, and Stratus can even be on a platform in the distance. Doesn't matter, and I'm just eating their damage, healing every turn, and maybe hitting them once, but he's getting all the kills, just blasting and blasting and blasting them. So with the right team, the Hunter's no joke.
No.
And
again,
absolutely,
I feel safer. So
it's hard when you're the one being hit. Sorry.
Yeah.
If nobody's ever played this, which is almost ridiculous to say. I mean, I'm sure every day people are playing this.
But but don't forget, new headsets every day.
Christmas came and went. The holidays came and went. So there's a whole brand new bunch of players who are looking to pick it up. You have any personal tips for any new players that might hear this and be like, I'm buying Demeo tonight?
Or even somebody who can't kill the Rat King, for example. Something like somebody stuck on a buck.
Right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, first one, if you're completely new and you really want to get into Demeo, first tip I would say is to join our Discord channel. And it's not to, promote it and get more followers there, but basically it's a really good place to like ask specific questions like, oh, I can't, down the Rat King, or I can't do this, or how do I do this? What's the most efficient way of, playing? Just because it's a really nice place to get tips and tricks. But then also, staying along the edges of the maps really helps. And don't open doors at the end of your turn. I've done that so many times, and it never works out well.
No, that's actually great advice, especially for somebody who's never. You can plug your Discord. What is the Discord?
We don't have like a. If you go to our website, let me just make sure I don't say this the wrong way. If you go to resolutiongames.com, you can find all of our games there. And if you go to Demeo, you should be able to find our Discord at the very bottom, I believe. I'm checking, so I'm not lying to y'all, but it should be there.
No worries. Speaking of your other games, one of the first games that we played when we picked up a headset was Cookout. That game is so much fun, but I will say it starts so casual and whatnot, but by the time you're reaching end game in the levels, you are doing so much freaking work.
Oh, it's harder than any job you'd ever have.
Yeah. It reminds me of working at a restaurant, but I was a waitress. But in rush hour,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of get
definitely
that
back
same
of the house
feeling.
stuff.
Oh, I totally encourage people
Absolutely.
to play Cookout. That is a fun, talk about a fun multiplayer game. As
Oh
far
yeah.
as just for
It's so
laughs, and
fun.
Yep. And
whereas Demeo, you can get more, things can get more serious. Where we're on,
well, and Demeo, you
life
can
and
take
death
your
here.
time planning moves. Haha.
No,
You cannot breathe in Cookout.
No, absolutely not. If you
So
breathe, you've already lost,
yeah.
basically.
So what year did you hop into resolution games? Because I know you said it was during the development of Demeo.
Yeah, I joined in 2019, and I joined pretty much right before we released Acron Attack of the Squirrels. And so I've been in the at the company for almost 3 years now. So it's been a while, and time just flies. I don't know how it's already been 3 years, but yeah.
because it's fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
When you're having fun and enjoying, time is.
So it sounds like as well that you hopped in right about the time the Quest 1 came out. Um,
Yeah, it was. I think I joined like a couple of weeks before it came out. I don't remember which month it came out that year,
okay,
but
nice.
somewhere around that time.
And did you have prior VR experience? Like how did you stumble into this? Were you a big gaming fan as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I worked at a VR company before Resolution Games. I worked at Neat Corporation, who made budget cuts. So I did that before, and I've worked in the games industry with PC games before as well. So I've been around for a while, and then also I'm a huge gamer, privately as well. So that
Yeah,
kind of
so
helps.
what was your first VR experience?
Oh God, I do remember it, and it was so weird. It was actually like a Game of Thrones exhibition, uh, that was like traveling around Europe, I think. And then you could go into like a booth and you put on a VR headset and you like went up this elevator on the ice wall. Um, and it was, I don't even remember what headset it was, but it was very pixelated and didn't feel very sophisticated back then. But that was the first time, and I was like, this could be pretty cool. With time, this is going to be really cool.
It's funny how far we've come.
Oh God, yeah.
I always wonder how many people discredit the Quest to this day because maybe some bad negative experiences with like the Gear VR or the
Cardboard
Samsung,
VR.
yeah, the Google Cardboard. It's to anybody listening, if
VR
if
is not the same.
no, it's a whole new animal.
No.
It's becoming better and better by the day.
And I think Demeo is a good example of that. You fire it up, and it's not just that the gameplay's fun. You mentioned it before, the environment, uh, everything
I'm an
about
older
it.
guy, so when I saw that basement, it brought back like that old, you know, 12, 13 playing Dungeons and Dragon type shit.
Well, it's not like that. There's just
Oh
minimalist.
yeah.
You look, there's all the decoration on the walls, something that we love because like Stratus said, we spent like 10 minutes just staring around the place. We were picking up the pieces. On the bottom of the pieces, it says "Made in
Yeah.
Sweden." A bunch
Yes.
of a bunch of small details like that for some people they might never notice it, but for the nerds like me and Stratus over here, it greatly adds to the immersion.
Yeah, no, the details on the bottom, that blew my mind.
Yeah, so I think Demeo is a good example of a game that shows that look, the quest is there. But speaking of these environments, have you ever thought of either adding more environments, like a pass-through environment, custom environments, anything like that?
Um,
Or is it
I
another
don't
so many
actually
things
know.
low on the
Yeah.
priority?
I mean, I don't actually know. I think it's definitely been discussed, but my guess, don't quote me on this, or it's in a podcast, but you know what I mean. But basically, I'm guessing that it's been something we thought about, but maybe haven't prioritized.
Yeah, well, it's so easy for
The consumer,
yeah, to be like, I want this,
gimme,
I
gimme,
want
gimme,
that.
gimme,
Why not?
gimme, gimme.
Yeah, we
But
talked
that's
to some.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
unfortunately,
love
the
that
what
because
I
it
was
gives us ideas on what to do and what people find important and are looking forward to seeing and stuff like that. So it's great.
yeah, but sometimes it can be a little selfish. It's like you guys work on a game for 3 4 years, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is more, more, more. So
But that's a
It's
good rating, you know?
yeah, when people aren't talking about anything, that's when there's a problem.
Mhm.
So the more people are talking, that's just the more that I think proves that people want more content and just want to keep playing.
Right. So of these books that have come out, which again for the listeners, if you haven't played Demeo, the book is what they call the DLC, or specifically that map. Um, have you found one of these to be the hardest for you specifically,
Mm,
or is it too easy because you work there and you know all the strategies?
Talk to the
you
people.
know, it's a very common misconception that we, those of us who work with the game are actually good at it. Because, usually when we play, we don't play to be good, we play to find bugs and things like that. So you don't really think about strategy all the time. But some of the developers are great, and when I've played with them, it felt a lot easier. Um, but I think to me I think Roots of Evil might be the hardest one for me. But it's also because I played that one the least, so I don't have like I have more experience with the previous ones, and I think that kind of helps.
No, that makes sense. It seems like it's following a model as well that each DLC is getting a little progressively harder.
We thought we were gonna breeze through that first DLC. And like, oh, this will be easy.
Nope.
We got slaughtered. I mean, slaughtered. I'm like, okay, forget everything we thought we knew about doing the first one. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember though. It
There's
was
a
still
lot
fun
of
though.
strategy. Well,
And I
that's
will
good
say
to hear.
the community is supportive. It's not
It's a very mature community.
yeah, it's not a toxic community at all.
No. So if you're somebody who, you haven't played Demeo yet and you're like, oh, it kind of sounds like a co-op social game. I don't really have friends. There's a great solo mode that's just as fun, in my opinion, as the multiplayer. But if you go find a match, you're going to find nothing but supportive players that'll teach you how to play,
Give you some
engage
good
with
tips.
Yeah, engage with a good in-game mic. You're not going to deal with a bunch of, no offense to little kids or anything like that, but you're not going to deal with a bunch of, rec room behavior or anything like that.
Of course, I'm not saying anything bad about Rec Room. But no, it is good to know, because a lot of people, you see it in comments of games. They don't want to. I think the thing with the Oculus is it's more of an older crowd. I mean, maybe teenager, but the older adult, I think, really grasps onto the Oculus.
Well, you say that, but again, if it's a free title and it's like free shooter, you're going to see a lot of little kids.
Oh no, I agree.
But
I agree. But Demeo, even by strategy, it's like you get a little kid to figure out some of the strategy and the
he's probably
teamwork.
going to be a chill
He's
little
probably
kid.
going to be a cool little kid. You're not going to make it very far, like really, if you behave that way. But it is important for people to know when they buy a game that some environments can be a little toxic, and this is just not the case. And like you had mentioned, the Discord, people can go and ask questions to the community directly, and they'll be quick to respond. As well as you can set up to meet up with players, and if you don't really have a vast network of friends, at least you can find people to play with.
So, kind of a little off topic question, but besides Demeo, what other games do you like to play? If you have
Ooh.
time for any
Anymore.
I do every now and then. I mean, I used to play a lot of Overwatch personally, a lot, but it's not that popular anymore. So my friends kind of quit. So now I'm like, going between games all the time. Like, I played BioShock Infinite the other day. Today I even played World of Warcraft for the first time in like forever. Just check it out how it feels. But yeah, otherwise, like for VR, I'm a big fan of Beat Saber, like everyone else, but it's just so much fun. And it kind of reminds me of like the old Guitar Hero days as well. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
If you like rhythm games and especially Guitar Hero, I can't recommend Unplugged enough, the air guitar game.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried it.
Yeah, that's a really fun game.
Yeah, we've done a little rhythm game marathon with if you check our back catalog now, we've done Beat Saber, Ragnarok, Synth Riders, Unplugged. So yeah, for rhythm games, Beat Saber is definitely a good one, but highly recommend Ragnarok and Unplugged as well. Those are definitely good ones.
Ragnarok, if you like more of a heavier
heavy
music
metal
score, yeah, like Celtic
Oh,
heavy
cool.
metal and stuff. Yeah, more of a Viking type thing,
Oh, that makes sense with the name.
Yeah, Ragnarok. It's still fun. Definitely
Sounds
fun.
very Viking. Yeah.
But Beat Saber
Yeah, I'll
is
check
still
them out.
killing it. Definitely still killing
Absolutely.
it.
And they keep releasing. Sorry.
Oh no, the
No. Keep...
DLC. Yeah, no,
I mean, they just happen to release music that I like, and then I kind of have to play it.
What was the last one? Britney Spears, I think, was the. I think
Was
she
it
was the.
really?
I think they.
Well, I know they did the Billie Eilish, right? Wait, we're talking about Beat
Yeah.
Saber still,
Beat
right?
Saber,
Yeah.
yeah. Or was it Lady Gaga? No, Lady Gaga they released.
See, I'll be honest with you. Stratus loves the Beat Saber and all the song packs they drop. That's a little bit more up his alley. I tend to steer a little clear, so he's a little bit more up to date than I am.
At Beat Saber,
I
just
mean, makes
fun.
sense. Yeah, it's like, and it's a good workout too.
The price isn't bad for the DLCs. It's not
Mhm.
the. What can I say? I'm a sucker for music I want to hear. So
Yeah,
and it would be
same.
the same with. And I'm not trying to plant any seeds in Resolution Games head, but it's like, would you pay $9.99 for a new level? Probably, most definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying before.
Knowing what the previous ones were
Mhm.
that they gave you for free, so it's like, yeah,
it's a good little business model. Beat Saber's cashed in on for sure.
I'd pay for the little figurines.
Keep that
Speaking
in
of which,
mind.
have you guys ever thought of making an actual physical board game as well? Because I won't lie, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm sure the idea struck us. I'm guessing it's a pretty big thing to take on as well.
Yeah.
Trying to focus on more content right now. But yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool. I would play it.
Yeah. So speaking of content and everything like that, with all these classes coming out, all these new maps, what's the end vision for Demeo to look like?
Well, it's hard to say where, like, where does the future bring us? It's hard to know, but I mean, for now, all we are set on is just to keep releasing things and keep updating and, making new content, hopefully for many years to come. But it's hard to say what like the ultimate goal is, apart from, keep building this really cool world. And we have so many ideas for new content too. So yeah, I just can't wait to like see where the game ends up in, like, I don't know how many years, but yeah, I'm really excited.
I think a good 5-year look ahead of Demeo would be pretty impressive.
Mhm.
But I honestly, I mean, it's like, I don't know how you can really make something that much better. Because functionality wise, it was great.
Yeah, you guys pumped out the save game feature, which was, I know, a huge request.
For a multiplayer game, it's one of the few times it's like playing chess almost, where you got people to play with, but you're not doing a lot of talking a lot. You don't have to. You're strategizing, saying what you got to do. So it's a very long process. So I don't know what you could do to make it better, other than just keep pumping out.
I think this Players Hub is a good little start.
Oh yeah,
This
no,
little social...
I didn't see that coming when I heard that was going to be a thing. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the arcade sounds cool, but so do the mini games. Are you at liberty to say what any of these mini games are? Or is that a little, we'll see when it comes.
No, oh God, I don't know if I can. I think
No,
we've
then
announced
don't.
it.
No, better to stay safe then.
But you'll find out in like
Yeah.
a very short time.
Yeah,
So
it's just around
yeah,
the corner.
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just a big, like I said, a big sucker for these little games because, playing a game of Demeo, you finish it. It's like, do we switch game or shit? You want to go find some new friends over in the social hub? It's kind of cool. It's a nice concept.
Yeah, I think it will be great.
Another little off-topic one is something we like to ask, all of our guests. Besides working in VR and engaging with the fans, what's some of your hobbies outside of, VR?
I have a lot of hobbies, but one of my main things are that I stream on Twitch, just because it's really fun. And yeah, I just have my own little community that I don't have to be a community manager of and just be a part of. But yeah, apart from that, I like sewing and crafting and things like that. Yeah, a little bit of a lot. I mean, I often try things and realize I didn't like it, and then I move on to the next thing. But crafting and games is what stuck with me, and singing.
Nice. Do you want to take the opportunity to plug your Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Ciwiel. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Ciwiel on all the social medias, almost.
Gotcha.
Nice. And where did that little gaming nickname come from?
Oh, it came from, I was making a character in World of Warcraft when I was like 15. So I went to name generator and just clicked it for like 20 minutes until something popped up that I liked, and then I changed around a bit, and I'm like, I guess I'm Ciwiel now.
It's forever now
Yeah,
your name.
I wish
No,
it had a cooler backstory though. I really wish, but it is what it is.
it's still a cool story though.
Yeah, you're talking to Dscruffles and Stratus, so I
Yeah,
think you got us a little beat.
your creativity beat us, or the amount of times you hit a button to.
Yeah, to come up with it.
Yeah,
So
it was a few times.
I love asking people who are in the business, because this, VR is we're at that ground level, I think, of where it's all gonna to go to. But what's the best advice you could give someone? I used to say, what's the best advice you could give younger people? But who cares what age you are if you've got any interest in getting into the industry? I mean, what's the best advice you could give someone?
I would say to work on your portfolio, regardless of like what area you're in. I had a really unusual way into the games industry where I actually studied 3D graphics for games. And then I did an internship and I just didn't do 3D graphics. I just did social media and like marketing materials, which I was way better at and had much more fun with. But a lot of people that I see, they usually study some kind of craft, programming or 3D art or whatever it is. And then through internships, oftentimes get into the industry. But if you work on a portfolio and you have something to show when you apply for jobs, I think that's a great way to just, show your potential and yeah, get your foot in.
No, fair enough. And I don't want to turn this into like anything political by any means, but one of the things we noticed, and we've reached out for, development companies that actually had female employees that were working on projects and in the development business, and admittingly have not been able to find companies that just, or even female development companies, other than one we did, but they had some problem with their content. So it's nice that I could see in the pictures on Instagram of Resolution Games, they've got a nice mix of people working in their company, not strictly, but I also attribute that to a lot of the studios we talk to are very small, but it does not seem to be. I'm happy to see that they have women in the industry, but it's like, how do you attract more women to an industry that I don't think many are finding attractive, or for whatever reason? So it just struck me as odd. I didn't think that I would see such
A lack of female representation.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
searching for female
We
developers.
put it out on social media platforms, in tech related type forums, and still came up empty. So it seemed that, like,
Yeah,
wow, there's like a gap somewhere.
there is. And I have some friends who've done research on this, like why it is the way it is and how not only in the games industry, but like esports and similar industries. And what it seems to like often come down to is that at an early age, women for some reason stop playing games, and they lose interest. And it's hard to say why, or like I don't have any good answers, but basically what seems to happen is that society kind of makes women not want to be part of it. I don't know if it's because it's toxic or because you're not supposed to be into tech and gaming because it's not typically feminine to be so. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing that changing slowly, but we still have a long way to go to get more women into the industry. But yeah, it really made me think about it. Like when I heard what they said that we need to start at an early age to like teach people how to program or, just keep the interest up in different ways. So yeah, hopefully over the years we'll see a bigger change. That's my hope at least.
Well, at least I know I'm not crazy, because I mean,
Yeah.
we really made effort to, like, I'm like, we're not seeing what I thought we'd actually be seeing.
Yeah.
It kind of bummed me out a little, because that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to. There's nothing political behind it. It was just an observation that, sadly, I guess, is true. But
Yeah, I hope that with the growth of like Twitch streaming and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you're a young
Yeah.
girl, you see like, hey, here's all these adult females playing games. It's cool. It's something that's socially acceptable, versus just you grew up in the '90s, you had television. That's it. Versus
Yeah.
like real life actual influences. Media is much different than real life. So
Yeah, no, I hope there is a change because I I don't know how to not sound like sexist, I guess, but in areas where I've seen women involvement in programming, you can see a touch to the end product that one could argue may not have been as well. So it's going to be interesting when you see more women stepping up in the industry. I look
Yeah,
forward to
and
it.
me too. And also, there's been research as well that's proven that if you have a diverse team making games or other products, you usually end up with a much better product.
yeah, I think that's what
So yeah.
he
Yeah.
was referencing it.
Sometimes I think
Oh
I'm nuts
yeah.
with some of the things I think. So you just made my day twice with saying that, there's
Yeah.
actually been
Yay.
studies, honest to God,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
other than that, it's just that I'm just thinking I'm nuts. I'm thinking maybe I'm making this shit up, but
Yeah, no, definitely. In my experience of seeing co-ed game environments, the end product ends up a little bit better.
yeah, I
So
think
hopefully we see more of it in the future. You said it might be part of the thing is like so many of these indie studios are
they're
2 to
just
3
small.
people.
I can't gig if you're two people that you didn't deliberately bring someone in, but when
Hmm.
you're when you can have more than two people, three people working, then that's when you should start looking for a little diversity in the workplace.
Hmm.
And I
Which
do. I think it adds to that whole every studio we've talked to that has pumped out a good game is like that work environment has just been a crucial aspect to the I think the success of it, the energy behind it, and the passion people put into their product. So it's good
Yeah, I
that
think you're
resolution
right.
with 100+ is or 100 whatever is diverse enough to. I don't know. That's cool. I encourage people to go to Instagram and see the photos. There's
hmm.
nobody frowning. Everybody's smiling. They almost look like some of the group ones are so good. Look, you like, wow, they stage that, when it's really just a random shot of the people in the
I know
group.
we have a lot of fun at the office. We do. So I really miss working at the office because of that social aspect and where you just have a lot of fun and yeah, looking forward to getting back to that eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming
So
slowly, but it's coming.
so where do you see VR in 5-10 years? With the growth of it in the last 3 years.
Your own personal.
Opinion. Do
Oh
you think it's going to
wow.
become mainstream? Do you think we're going to see it every day
It's
in
just as
the
a
common
trend.
work environment? Do you think it's
I
going to kind of
mean,
stagnant? Where's in your opinion we're going to see things in 5-10 years?
I really hope that we're going to keep seeing it growing and become more mainstream. One thing I noticed, like a few years ago when we launched Acron, Attack of the Squirrels, we were at PAX, and there were so many like kids and families I met. They were like, "Yeah, I've tried VR before. Like, I don't have a headset, but I've tried it." And then we had another event in Sweden later that year, and I talked to people there, and they're like, "Oh, never tried VR before. Never. I didn't know that was a thing." Um, and I'm like, I mean, if we can start just by having a lot of people try it out and then buy headsets, and the technology is going to keep evolving and stuff. I feel like it has all the potential to go mainstream. And I feel like all of us would love that. I mean, unless you're like a gatekeeper, but I think most of us would love to see that.
No, and do you mind telling our listeners a little bit about Acron in case they're not familiar with it? I love the concept of it.
My
You're
God.
playing in VR with one user, the other person's mobile, but maybe one of our listeners haven't ever played that game. And that's another great resolution games title.
Yeah, absolutely. So one player VR is a tree who's protecting its golden acorns. And then you're a team of squirrels on mobile phones and you're trying to steal the acorns and bring them back to your flag. And each squirrel has like its own special ability, and you just have to like teamwork to pick them all up. But you can play together, I mean, even in the same room or like from different places in the world. But the really cool part is only one person needs to be in VR, and then the rest are on mobile.
It's
Oh,
it's hysterical.
yeah.
Is
Yeah.
all you gotta do is watch the trail. It's one of the few games that if you watch the trailer for, you're like, oh,
Mhm.
I want that so bad.
And I kind of categorize things as like, all right, this is a great game for people who love VR. This is a great game to introduce somebody to VR, like as a first app. This is a great game to bring to a party and
Party game.
show off VR. Acron is exactly the game. Pass around the headset, have everybody else, so that way not everybody's just sitting there watching the guy looking geeky with the hands waving around. They're actually engaging with the phone. I think that's a great game to sell your friends, to VR.
The VR experience, absolutely done well as well.
Absolutely.
So this might be a little tough to answer because you're involved in things. It's you have a little love for, I'm sure, all of them. But do you have a favorite game of resolution games?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
I
I
get it because
mean,
I'm sure they all have a little special something in the
they
heart. But
do. They do. I mean, for playing with friends and like just having a really long play session, then Demeo absolutely. Like that would be my first pick. But then also like Cookout has such a like close it's so close to my heart because I just find it so hilarious to play. Like you never have a dull moment if you play it.
no, there's a lot of shouting
Yeah.
too.
Yep. Yep.
That's definitely
No,
one
I
of
don't
those.
know.
The more players you have, the more fun Cookout is, by far.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's fun because someone always ends up being like the main chef telling one, a Gordon Ramsay telling everybody what to do and like, I need mayo over here. But yeah, it's hard, as you said, I have love for all of them in different ways, but those are like two that are definitely some of my, closest to my heart.
No, funny. Those are probably our favorite resolution ones as well. I mean, Cookout is just, if you want to laugh.
Cookout's laugh, yeah.
Yeah, that's another good new to VR game. It's
High
not
stress environment, but somehow you're laughing about it.
you're not going to get motion sick.
No.
It's not real movement
No,
besides
it's
just your arms.
fun.
It's a lot of stress for sure. That's definitely one you're going to sweat a
Plus,
lot with.
Cookout's that's like pretty much in all ages too. Like,
Which seems to be a recurring theme at Resolution Games. I don't think that I've played one of your games yet. I mean, geez, you guys ported Angry Birds. It seems like E for everyone is the general rating you guys shoot for.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been our goal. And then, of course, with, more competitive games like Blaston, and then we have Demeo. I mean, we're starting to try out new things. But yeah, everyone can find something in our library for sure. Everyone.
Oh yeah, and I would recommend start with Demeo.
Yeah, me
Personally,
too.
start with Demeo, then go Cookout. I think.
Yeah, well, again, Cookout's even more because Demeo you can have a lot of fun with the solo mode, and again you can still do Cookout solo, but I think Cookout even more so shines with the multiplayer.
No, I agree.
You have a couple people that you're close with, so you don't mind getting a little personal with the shouting as things get intense. Cookout's
throwing stuff.
Yeah, it's a good family game. You live far away from your relatives or something like that. You each throw on a headset.
It's a feel good game.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would go with that. Definitely a feel good game.
So we're starting to approach that hour mark. I always know your guys' time is pretty sensitive. It sounds like it's you guys have your plate full at Resolution, definitely. Stratus, before we wrap things up, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to ask?
No, all the big ones I needed were answered well. So.
Yeah, all I know is I'm excited for this.
And I'm glad I'm not going crazy. That was that made
me. Yeah, I'm glad really, I could help.
Honestly, did.
Well, sometimes in the flow of conversation, sometimes like how you say something isn't exactly what you mean to. So in case any of our listeners need clarification, Trash for saying the games are better with the female developers in there.
Yeah,
100%.
I hope I didn't imply otherwise.
Otherwise, no. Definitely that little touch in anything, even businesses. You go in and it's a co-ed run business.
Diversity matters.
You see it a lot. So definitely glad to see that Resolution is continually pumping out new content. We got this players hangout coming. Yeah, players hangout coming.
Happy work environment. So, come on. Happy work environment means great product.
I'm excited to see what the future in 2022 brings for you guys. So before we let you go, Ciwiel, is there anything else you want to plug? Maybe the Discord again, some upcoming updates, Discord, anything Twitch. Like that?
I mean, make sure to follow us on social media or join our Discord just to make sure that you see when we do updates or when we announce new games and stuff like that. We have a lot coming up this year, so make sure that you don't miss out.
Yeah, Resolution was a top contender of ours for Studio of the Year, and it's not just because of the content you guys drop when the game drops. It's because of the follow-ups. You guys don't really do pump and dumps. It's the game drops, and it's good. You could leave it completely alone. It's a finished game. but then a year later, it's twice the game it was at release. So a lot to look forward to with Resolution Games. So, like she said, if you guys don't follow Resolution Games yet, definitely follow them on social media. And most importantly, if you haven't checked out Demeo, now's a good time with some more updates coming soon. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and stay tuned for Wednesday where we're reviewing a cute little city builder. So, I'm excited for this one. So, stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening, guys, and check you out then. Podcasting remotely can be a challenge. And when we first began interviewing developers, we ran into every headache imaginable.
From connection issues to video lag to sound quality performance, we knew there had to be a better platform we could use.
That's where Zencastr came in, allowing us to easily connect with guests all over the world. Zencastr is simple to use with no download needed. With studio quality sound, HD video recording, automatic post-production, automatic transcripts, and a cloud backup, Zencastr is the perfect solution for any remote podcast.
If you'd like to have the same easy experience that we did for all your podcasting and content needs, then make sure to go check out zencastr.com/pricing and enter the promo code Ruff Talk VR, and you'll save 30% off your first 3 months.
That's zencastr.com/pricing, promo code Ruff Talk VR. Zencastr, making remote podcasting easy. Hey guys, Dscruffles here. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen to. And definitely don't forget to check out our official subreddit and join us there at r/RuffTalkVR. There you can join a community of other podcast fans, join us for some podcast meetup games, get first scoop on new episodes, interact with us a little bit directly, and more. As well, be sure to check out our official podcast supporter link, the Buy Me a Coffee link you can find right in our show notes, where you can donate to the podcast either one time, multiple times, become a monthly supporter. That way you can help us on our journey to make podcasting a full-time gig so we can continue to bring you more great podcasting content. As well, be sure to visit the Kiwi Design link in our show notes as well, where you can go and shop for different Oculus Quest 2 VR accessories, whether it's knuckle straps, lens protectors, face shields, whatever. Kiwi has you covered. So again, visit the Kiwi Design link in our show notes, help support the podcast, and pick yourself up some sweet Oculus Quest 2 gear.